After meeting with Mr. Lee, I met with a young man and his mother to discuss their problems with access. As requested, I have edited the video to keep their identities private. So, how long have you been using Access for, and where do you take it to?
Well, I take it to Eastgate,
Okay.
which is Bellevue,
Okay.
and sometimes if I just see my bus is not there, because I gotta call Access for transportation.
And where you work at Microsoft?
Yeah,
Right?
Microsoft. Yes.
Awesome. Could you describe the situations when you are late getting home?
Well, yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes they've gone by our neighborhood and taken somebody home further south than us and then come back to our neighborhood. So, difficult to understand. Window is 2 to 2:30 in the afternoon, and sometimes I think he's been home one time around 5:45. So there have been some bad rides home. Not gotten much answer why.
So Access has like a set route, and then they have to follow this route, even if it's more logical that drop you off first instead of going more south and go back north to drop you off, correct?
Right. And a lot of times he's been actually waiting outside of, not a lot of times, but sometimes he has waited outside of somebody's work while they waited for them to get off work. So rather than just giving him a good ride home with other people that were already ready to go south, he's sat at a job site waiting for someone's shift to be done to get them to continue south, which doesn't really seem like a good use of his time. He's not a driver. He should be getting a good ride home from his employment.
Absolutely.
So, if he's got a doctor's appointment or something that he's got to get to, I can't rely on Access to pick him up. I have to cancel his ride and I have to go get him just to ensure that he will be home in time, because I never know when to expect him. He can get home anytime between 2:30 and 5:30, which is a huge range of time to have to try and organize his own, private life.
So in what we talked about, you've told me that you've tried to address these complaints to Access, but they just kind of. You say that they make marks if you try to complain. Can you talk about that?
I'm not sure what the process is, but sometimes if I've called and talked to them about where he is or why is the ride so long, there's a reason. But I don't ever feel like it's addressed as far as like a long-term fix to it. It's just like this happened and that's why. I've gotten some letters home from them when I've called and had a problem with a particular day. I've gotten letters saying that they received my complaint, and this was the complaint number, but it doesn't really say which one it was. So it's hard to follow up with that letter to find out what the resolution was. Who to talk to. There's really not a point person. As far as just knowing how a complaint is resolved, I wish there was more like a form you could fill out so that you really had something to track. But if you call with a complaint, all you do is verbalize it. There's nothing in writing. So it's very hard to have any proof that you spoke to anybody or have any proof that you had a problem. So when you have a set work schedule and you work the same hours every day, the same day every week, you should be able to be relying on their service a little bit more so that it doesn't reflect so negatively in the person's life. They have a right to have a life that they know when they'll be home from work so that they can plan other things. These kids are active and busy, and they have a lot going on. They don't just go home, and their time has value, just like ours does. So I think being respectful of their schedules and their time, and not just being okay with letting them sit on vans for hours on end.
Philip, if you could say anything to Access right now, what would you say?
I'd say they're kind of in between or end to the beginning. I don't know what they can do.
To help you get home a bit better. Okay. Yeah. Do you like the ride on Access? It's good to get you to work.
Yeah.
He's able to have a good job because they will take
Yeah.
him there. But just
Microsoft sounds good.
yeah, to be a little more consistent would be helpful, and not so stressful at the end of a long workday. To just feel like you could rely on their service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.